Um, yeah, hello. I've not shared videos in the past few days. Basically, I returned back to Nigeria, and it's been hard trying to settle in. But yeah, it's good to be back home. So today I'm creating this video, and I'll be talking basically about three ideas, which are kind of and also like I'm back home and I have this cigarette which I smoke and I miss so much. Um, so yeah, today I'll be talking of about passive consumption, and so basically, for my university long essay, I had my long essay on literature as like the reader of literature as passive consumer, and so I was thinking of literature as commodity, and I was thinking of ways in which the audience can become more engaged, so the public can become more engaged in and more active in terms of how they experience that. So I started that in the university, and basically that's this idea has motivated a lot about my works, how I work, the teams I work with, also the medium I kind of work with, and also because most people don't really understand what my residency project was about. But I was basically working on literature also as a commodity, and also trying then to find a way in which AI can write literature text for the reader. Then, but it's just in a way that the reader decide like what kind of literature they want to read, and then the AI then send them a short a fiction where they can read. So that was the idea for the whole residency period. But along the line, I took a break from the residency and decided I would finish it up in Nigeria, because I also decided I really don't want to work with AI like that. So I did that. So I talk about passive consumption, then I talk about literature as commodity, then I talk about public opinion and how that can be also used in performance and also art. So I start with passive consumption, and basically when I'm talking about passive consumption, what I'm thinking about how is like how like because I personally started out as a poet, as a writer, and I'm still a poet, and and it's interesting because then I was thinking of how much when I'm writing fictions, when I'm writing poem, I have an idea, I have like something I want to, almost like I have an agenda. And then most times when the readers are reading this, they're only appreciating the poetry, they are only, they are reading my literature pieces, and then I was thinking how they might not even notice like I am trying to in a way pass some ideas to them, in a way add something to their subconscious or even conscious self that moderate how they choose, how they decide things. So I was thinking about how like for someone who's a reader of literature, they might not be so conscious of this, that I am like moderating the template through which they see the world and through which they react to the world. So I was thinking of that as passive consumption, and I think consumption is even more passive when we think of performances of theater, where we just have to sit down and watch whatever it is that the performers are doing, and then we get the morals, whatever, if they have any morals. We also like just understand what they are doing, and in a way, from experiencing theater, we also like shape how we also perceive the world, no? So I was thinking of how can audience be conscious of this? How can I, as a writer, as an artist, be conscious of this? And how can I kind of find a more participatory way where the audience can become active. So this really changed my literature writing, because if you, for those who know me in person, is why I started with poetry, then I moved to spoken word, and from spoken word I moved to digital literature, to performance, and so these are basically what moderate this shift. And and then basically I was thinking of literature as commodity also, because then there's so much text, and almost like because there's so much text, it's almost like when you have overload of information, overload of food, and then you can't really take it in again. You become so kind of in a way like tired of saying it again, and then it's also motivates one of the reasons why I started doing performances, and yeah. But what I was thinking then was, how can then I have audience become active in the art space? So, like say with performances, with my performance art project, for those who witnessed, it's always a bit of exercise of practice in collaboration with the audience, where either they are helping me doing the task, or they are helping me set up, or they are helping me at some point. So it's always this participatory way, because I also think like, as much as I am talking about like relating with this critical or maybe so important fragment of the human society, I don't want you to just witness. I also want you to participate in a bit. And even if like, because I also imagine like I can have performances and then the audience don't really figure out what I'm doing exactly at that point when they are watching the performance. But I imagine like if they can do something during the performance, that could be like a way for them to get into the performance. So like, and I have this like this performance I had last time with candles, these littered candles in cycle, and then there's a egg in the piece shape, and you can imagine I had people to light the candle themselves, and then people can, from there you can see this cycle forming as you light it, and you can see the piece inside it, you can see the reflection on the egg, and at the end of the performance when there's no light and it's only this cycle of light, you can, so these are things I'm also thinking. And also like now in more complex way, I'm also thinking of public opinion and creating public opinion. And this was like an idea I had from the Goki residency, I mean with thanks to Kenseng, because Kenseng, they mentioned that to me, and it was really interesting because I did not notice I was staying with Sumo Tuchi. And basically it's also to find more ways. So it's basically like you have you collect public opinion and then you create it. So in a way you are bringing people into the process of even creating the artwork, and people become more involved. And then yeah, so these are really the things I'm thinking of and how I'm working. And these ideas are really much more recurring and much more important to me personally in my own craft and artwork. So yeah, that's the end of this video. It's very short, I assume, and I'll say thank you again for watching. I'm James Notin, as I've always been. I never change. Yeah, it's stupid now. There's this crazy war going on, and we have to pretend that everything is okay. I beg, nothing is okay. Aj, nothing is okay. we we just, it's sad now, because the world wants us to move on, and it's so depressing, and it's crazy. It's one of a thing I was struggling with when I was in the residency, because my residency was funded by Germany. I know this whole, and I understand, because I mean I studied European studies and I was majored in German, so I understand it so much more what Nazism has to do with Israel state. And also now with Germany reaction to this, and then I am also in Germany and was funded by the German Institute, and there was this sense of up and down. And at some point I felt like, oh, maybe I couldn't say anything, maybe this, and it was really traumatic at that point. But yeah, I'm happy I got the chance with Siaka to just put out my mind, and that was like liberating really for me. I was able to settle down, like, yeah, whatever the fuck want to happen, let it happen, but I say what I want to say. I think this war going on is very crazy. We have to end it. I mean, there's nothing we can do, because there's a lot we can do, but I'm saying there's nothing we can do, because I'm not talking from the perspective of a black African, because then I can see what's happening in Nigeria, I can see what's happening in Congo, I can see, and then these are things that should be ended. Generally, every form of oppression, we have to end it, and then nobody is free until everybody is free. And these are not freedom that are negotiated. It has to be freedom, dignity. You have to, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We can't negotiate, okay, let us be able to do this. This is our land. We decide how we use our land. We decide how we use what we have in the land. This is our economy. We decide how our economy grew. We decide who partake in our economy. Basically, yeah. So I'll make this the end of the video. Thank you so much. I was trying to make it very short, and I imagine I talked so much. So thank you, and see you soon next week. Ciao.